Hello everybody, my name is Lewis, and today's video is about 3-in-1 chargers, and specifically why I think everyone needs one of these. Now this goes for kind of every single in-one, 5-in-1, 6-in-1, 7-in-1, 4-in-1, 3-in-1, 2-in-1, all of the in-ones are just super useful to have. Having everything in one location is extremely convenient. And convenience is kind of going to be the theme of this video. Everything is just going to be super convenient to have. It's not something you need, but it's something you definitely want. And let me get into why. So the first section of this video will be about convenience. The second section will be about setting this thing up because there are some things you have to do specifically for the Apple Watch charger. And then finally, I'm going to give my whole thoughts, which is probably going to be a whole lot of this thing is amazing, blah, blah, blah. So let me get into why this thing is so convenient to have. First, everything's in one location. Having everything in one location is just extremely convenient. Not to mention the fact they're already fully charged, but being able to grab everything and run out the door is just extremely useful. And if you don't find the usefulness in that, then let me continue on. Second, if you're a multitasker, let's say you're doing something really boring and tedious and you have to repeat something, it's just mindless and you're bored out of your mind, with this charger, I'm not sure how many of these allow this, but you can actually put your phone into landscape mode and then you can watch movies or play a mobile game while doing whatever tedious task you're doing. The final nail in the coffin, which will probably if you aren't convinced by the other two things, maybe you like to travel, so having a permanent setup isn't something you want, it's portable. This one in specific, let me show you. This one folds. It doesn't fold much, but this folds to become flat so you can put this in your bag and travel. What more could you want from this? It's already extremely small, and being able to fold this up, I do not know what else you could possibly want. If you want an ultimate travel buddy and you just want one cable to plug all of your devices in, this is it. All you need is one USB-C cable, and then you have all three of your devices charging. What more do you want? Let's get into how to set this thing up specifically for the Apple Watch. If you don't have an Apple Watch, this thing is plug and play. However, if you do, you will need to use that Apple Watch cable and then thread it through the back. In order to use this, you will need a USB Type A Apple Watch connector because this does not have a USB-C port in here. So if you don't have one of those, if you have one of the newer Apple Watches, I believe it's Series 7 and up, the Series 7, Series 8, and SE Generation 2 all come with the Apple Watch to USB-C, so you will need to buy an Apple Watch to USB-A in order to use this. But let's show you how to get this thing set up. Alright, so this is how you set up the Anker PowerWave 3 for your Apple Watch charger. This is going to be different for every single model, so I recommend referencing your tutorial, but I'm going to show you here. So to open up the back cover, push down and up, then it's going to pop out of place, and then you can just go ahead and take it out, and then you should see a type of cable raceway. You can see there's a little diagram of how it works, so that's basically what you're going to want to follow. So thread the USB part of the cable through the back here and keep pulling until the magnetic part of the Apple Watch charger is just at the top of the stand. Then once it's there, you're going to want to put this inside of the Apple Watch charger holder that came with the 3-in-1 charger. But first, do make sure that it is oriented the right way, otherwise you will have to do this all over again. So make sure it is the correct direction before you do this. And then once you put it in there, make sure to double check because you will have to redo everything if you get the orientation wrong. And then flip it over to the back side again, and then you're going to need to route it through the cable raceway. This will depend depending on which cable you have. If you have a 0.3 meter, you will need to follow the diagram for that 0.3, or if you have a 1 meter cable or 3-foot cable, then you need to follow the diagram. All right, and once you're here, you're just gonna wanna go ahead and plug it in and make sure everything is tightened and fastened in the correct place. And that's pretty much it. You're done. All you have to do is go ahead and pop that back plate back on, and you're finished. Now it's time for my final thoughts and pros and cons of owning this. First, the pros. You kind of just all heard them, but I'll say them again pretty quickly. Extremely useful. Travel, anything you want. This is the best thing to own ever. But there are some pretty big caveats that might make you not want to buy this. But one thing I want to get out of the way, there are multiple models of this. They are more expensive, but they do cancel out some of these problems, and I'll say the ones that do. First off, not Android compatible. There's not really a model to fix this. You can charge Android phones on the stand, but let's say you don't use AirPods and you have a case that's pretty big, let's say the Beats Fit Pro or the Power Beats, which are still Apple headphones. Those are absolutely ginormous cases, and the chances that they probably won't fit on this small charging space, especially while your phone is in landscape mode. So that is a pretty big problem if you don't use AirPods. But I mean, who doesn't? Only broke people don't use AirPods. I'm kidding, obviously. The main nail in the coffin is that my specific model isn't case compatible. Now, if you get one of the newer models, they will be case compatible, but they will also be more expensive, ranging from $40 to $50, which is pretty steep for a wireless charger. Now, in my case, I have an iPhone XS and it charges with mine just fine, but if you have a newer phone that's thicker and taller, then you're going to have an issue on your hands. So, it's really your choice. If you have enough money to go ahead and get one of the bigger options, I highly recommend you to do so, but I am 14. I don't have enough money to buy $50 wireless chargers, so it's honestly up to you. I'll put the model that's the absolute best in the description, and then I'll put the one that I have, and you can choose between which one you want. In my opinion, taking off your case isn't really too big of an issue, especially if you have one of the silicone cases. These things come off super easily, and then you can just put your phone to charge, and you'll probably be keeping it on there for at least a couple hours, so you'll be fine. But if you don't feel like doing that, then you may have to get one of the more expensive models. So, like I said, it's up to you to choose, or you can just not buy them at all. But I really don't recommend that option because these are super useful to have. And if you don't end up liking it, go ahead and return it, and then tell me why you didn't like it in the comments below. I'm kind of interested to see why people wouldn't like it besides the reasons that I've listed. So, this has been Lewis, and I'm out. Peace.